had a few people express the need for some help just with preparation for fights, controlling nerves, stuff like that. So we do this every now and then with the comm team, so welcome to the novice guys that are here as well. Really just want to talk about positive reinforcement. Can you just do me a favour and stop all those names? So just got a question for you guys. What's more important or more beneficial, do you think? Is it positive thinking? Yeah? Or stopping negative thoughts? What's more important? What's more beneficial? Positive thinking or stopping negative thoughts?
Stopping negative thoughts is good.
Stopping negative thoughts. Hands up if you think it's stopping negative thoughts. Hands up if you think it's positive thinking more important. Okay. So studies say that all the studies actually show less negative thoughts actually outweighs more positive thoughts. Yeah. So the more we can eliminate negative thoughts from our thought process, the better we're going to be. So it's in the phrase, less negative thoughts is more beneficial. If there's less negative thoughts, there has to be more positive thoughts, right? So if you look at it in those terms, if we can try and get rid of the negative thoughts in our head, yeah, it's going to be more beneficial to us and reaching our goals and dealing with anxiety and stress, yeah, and nerves before a fight, yeah. So stopping that negative thinking, this is your first point of call. Alright, so regardless of all this other stuff we're going to talk tonight, the first thing is to stop that negative thinking. Remove negative thinking, remove negative self-talk, and really even remove negative shit talk about other people, about the world. So in general, like, none of us are guaranteed tomorrow. Yeah. Some of you guys would have been in touch with friends and family that are no longer with us, or that passed suddenly. So that's the fact of life. No one's guaranteed any extra days on this earth. Alright, so why do you want to fill it with negative shit and self-doubt, and negative self-talk? Alright, so first and foremost, this is what we're going to try and get rid of. What's some examples of negative thoughts? Some of you might have some, just, if they're not your own thoughts, that's cool. Just give me an example of a negative thought.
I'm not fit enough.
I'm not fit enough. What else?
Not strong enough.
Not strong enough.
Disappointment.
Disappointment coach.
Losing in front of your friends and family.
Negative and losing in front of friends and family, yeah. So these are sort of fears that become negative. You're talking about fears of I'm not good enough in this area, not good enough in that area, I'm going to let people down, I'm going to look stupid. So yeah, they're negative thoughts. Like, how do we change that?
Eliminate.
How do we eliminate it when it's present in your mind? How do we get rid of it? Surely everyone's had negative thoughts coming into their mind. What's a different way if you say I'm not strong enough? How do you change that negative? I'm going to this fight, I'm not fit enough.
I put it in the work.
Put it in the work, 100%. Number one, first and foremost, is putting in the work. How do you eliminate any negative thought process before a fight? You're about warming up to the fight, you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm fit enough. You just fought 3 threes.
Yeah.
Unknown for you because you've never fought 3 threes, so a little bit different in the mental side as well because you've never done it. But if you've done the preparation,
Yeah.
if you've done the preparation, you should be right. Still not the same as fighting 3 threes, but he would have been done the preparation enough to be fit for 3 threes. Now that he's fought 3 threes, he now knows, he's confirmed to himself I'm fit enough. But if you probably went into it with you even said to me after the fight, I didn't know that I was going to be fit enough. So there was an issue for you, yeah? But it wasn't a big enough issue for you to affect your performance, yeah? So that's the key. So you're allowed to have those thoughts, but if they're affecting your performance, then we've got to try and get rid of those thoughts, yeah? Doubts and fears are all natural, everybody has them. We all have the same doubts and fears. It's how you deal with it and how you channel it, or how you can it over there and get rid of it and move on past it is depend on how you perform on the day, or how you perform in everyday life, how you deal with situations in everyday life. Yeah. What about negative self-talk? Give me some examples of negative self-talk. I'm sure. No. Yeah. Negative, that's negative. Slow. What else? The other negative self-talk. I'm not good enough. Yeah. Not good enough for what? Whatever you're doing at the time. Yeah, and that's a massive one. Yeah, and I'm sure everyone in their life has said I'm not good enough. Forget about boxing. Yeah, that's any sport. You're always going to come in thinking maybe I'm not good enough. Yeah, I was lucky enough not to have that problem, so I thought I was good enough, even if I wasn't good enough. So that's probably a little bit of a positive in one way. But I'm not good enough is a massive one in your whole life. And that negative self-talk, whatever you think, usually is what comes to fruition in your life. So even if you're saying to yourself, I don't want to get knocked out this fight, I'm not going to get knocked out this fight, I'm not going to get knocked out this fight. All you're really talking about is getting knocked out in that fight. I don't think your nervous system can't really differentiate between not getting knocked out and getting knocked out. All it knows is in your brain is knocked out. I'm getting knocked out, I'm not getting knocked out. I know in the English language it changes it, but in a thought process and a nervous system process, I'm sure the science is there and I've heard it before, but it can't differentiate. Yeah. So you've got to get rid of that self-talk. Yeah. I'm not good enough. To I am good enough. Or I've improved a hell of a lot in that area. I'm a lot better in this area now. I'm getting better in this area. You may not still be where you want to be in that area, but I'm a better father now. I spend more time with my kid. Not that I'm not going to be a good enough father to my child, because maybe you didn't have a good enough father, yeah, and then you don't know how to be a good father. Well, that's cool. You can find out. You can tell yourself, I am going to be a good father. And it's the same with your boxing. You got to look at that, and it's like, all right, well, you may have failed in the past, but to get past that, you can't keep concentrating on those failures. Your self-talk needs to be positive. It can't be negative. I'm not going to get beat again. I'm not going to get beat again. No, I'm improving each week. Yeah, I'm getting better. I'm going to win this week. Just let me reinforce that all this is so important. Whether you're trying to improve in an area or stop something, yeah, a bad technique, visualization is really, really important. But without putting it into effect, without doing it physically as well, you can't just sit there and think stuff and think it's going to happen. You've got to also do the physical side, yeah? But the mental side is going to help it meld together in your nervous system, and it's going to help you perform it a lot better. Alright? Negative talk about others or the world. Give me some examples. Fucking banks, I hate banks. They rip us off. Government, taxes too much. I can put my hand up. I've just said it again today. It really shits me, and I want my world to be a better world when it comes to tax. I think we're taxed too much.
You've been the 47% for that.
I'm getting, yes, nearly 50% of tax gets taken once you're over a certain thing, right? So, but how do you minimise it? Instead of that, all right, this is what I've been dealt with, this is what I've been given. I can't change it at this stage. Maybe people might join forces one day and we can vote them out and vote a better system, but at the moment this is our system. So instead of me complaining about it, I should be okay. Well, how do I minimise my tax? How do I become a little bit more tax effective? Instead of just complaining about this is no good, this is no good. Yeah? So, you know there's no class on Fridays anymore, yeah?
Well, I've got Jason to he'll be coming in.
Yeah, maybe. You hang around, maybe. No. Come in. Come and wait, but yeah, come and wait. Do you know where the lights are? Yeah, turn them on. I'm not sure if they are, but yeah. So it's the same thing. We've got to try and turn around all those negative aspects, yeah? So remember, getting rid of the negative self-talk, the negative thoughts, yeah, and the negative speech towards other things is very effective, you know, in being more positive, yeah? So then we look at optimism, pessimism, yeah? What's it mean to be optimistic?
Always look for the bright side. You always look for the positive.
Yeah? An optimistic person is looking at the positive side of things, not the negative, not being pessimistic, not being negative about stuff. So the dictionary says, hopeful and confident about the future. Yeah? So to be optimistic is to be hopeful and confident about the future. Alright? So not you know, feeling helpless and not confident about your future. And that's in your whole life. Yeah? So whether it's about a job, whether it's about schooling, whether it's about relationships, and you know, most importantly what we're talking about here is in sport. You know, but boxing to me is life, and you learn all your lessons in boxing can be relatable to your life. Okay? So these things are important. What will make your life better will make your sport better. What makes your sport better will make your life better. Yeah? I don't differentiate with that. The positive thinking that usually comes with the optimism is a key part of effective stress management. And effective stress management is associated with many health benefits. Yeah? So I'll just read that again. The positive thinking that usually comes with optimism is a key part of effective stress management. Yeah? Okay, let's now look at that in a boxing sense, right? Preparing for a fight. Right? Say it again, preparing for a fight. Preparing, novice guys, preparing for your first spar here, or preparing for your first spar against someone from another gym. If you haven't done that yet, it's a whole different thing. Yeah? As is fighting. So, warming up, getting ready to have your first fight, second fight, first spar, second spar, first spar with someone from another gym, going to someone else's gym for a first spar. The positive thinking that usually comes with optimism is a key part of effective stress management. So, what's stress? Anxiety, yeah, nervousness, yeah. So they're all feelings that you get. Yeah, it can affect you physically as well. Your legs start to feel weak. Sometimes your bowels get irritable and you get the runs. So it's a real thing. It's not made up. It's not just all in your head. It can affect you, but it is in your head. Because the way you deal with it in your head will then come out of you physically. Yeah, whether it's slow or lethargic or, you know, weak legs or, you know, got the shits before a fight. Yeah, I've been there. I've had it all as well. Yeah, but you've got to learn to deal with it. Alright? So, being optimistic, yeah, as we said, hopeful and confident about the future, and being optimistic when you are into a fight is, you know, I'm going to have a good outcome in this fight. I'm going to win this fight. You know, there's a beauty of this sport. I love this sport. There's only two people in that ring. Both of them think they're going to win, but there's only one winner. Especially in amateurs. You get draws in the pros, and in the amateurs, there's only one winner. There is a winner at the end of that. You know, both of these are prepared as best they can. Both of them think they're going to win, but only one person wins. How do you be the person that wins?
Work more than the other person.
Yeah.
I am going to win.
Yeah. You got to want it more.
More will.
Yeah.
You got to have more will. Yeah.
Train harder.
You got to have that preparation. Yeah. You got to have all of that. You know. So when we talk about pre-fight nerves, stress, yeah, to manage that we need to be more optimistic and positive in our thoughts and our preparation. Right? So we need to be more optimistic and more positive in our thoughts and our preparation. Yeah. So when we talk about preparation, we have to talk about routine. Yeah. So good routine, positive routine is the mother of preparation. Yeah. Good routine, positive routine is the mother of preparation. And preparation is everything. Without preparation, you're not winning anything, whether what's your routine when you prepare for a fight? Yeah, what's your routine when you prepare for a spar? What's your routine when you prepare for training? Those are all the same things. So you've got to understand that all your preparation, mental, especially what I'm talking about, before training, before sparring, before a fight, yeah. When you get up before you attack the day, yeah, before you step into work, go for a new job, yeah, or when you're about going for a test, yeah, or when you're going on a date with someone you haven't met yet. Yeah, preparation is important, and routine is also very, very important. So that's why I try to get you guys to do that routine, warm-up routine. You know, everyone does rotations. You know, everyone has their warm-up. You can vary that a little bit when it comes to sparring and fighting. You know, we don't always skip, but you know, you've got to have that routine. And the routine needs to be physical, and the routine needs to be mental. Right? And so that's some of the stuff we're going to go through today. So an effective routine can help reduce stress, which can lead to better mental health, more time to relax, and less anxiety. So I know a lot of people complain about routine, like things are boring, but routine is essential in everything we do. Yeah. Without routine, there's no preparation. Without preparation, there's no winnable outcome, in my opinion. It's just luck. Something happens for you, it's just luck. Yeah. So if you want to make sure that something happens and you get what you want, you've got to have routine and you've got to have preparation. So I'm going to talk a little bit. I've done some new study. Like I used to do visualization when I was fighting myself. I feel like it wasn't really a big thing. It's a lot more predominant now. It's purely because of the internet. There's a lot more information out there. There's a lot more athletes that are getting seen and can be readily seen, spruiking how effective it is and how much it helps them, and you know, gets them to where they need to be, which we didn't really have when I was fighting, because we didn't. The internet and mobile phones and stuff weren't what they are now. Yeah, but I was lucky enough to have one of my sponsors at the time give me it was a CD, which I put in my Walkman, CD Walkman. And I listened to, and it was a US naval officer that talked you through a visualization technique. So I'm going to talk you through what I used to do and the benefits of it for me, and then I'm going to talk to you about some study I've done now and the differences in what I used to do and what they're talking about is effective now. And I feel like they're both good, but you know, studies have been done, so who am I to say that this science isn't right? And I've listened to people that have studies to back up what they're saying. Yeah. So going back to what I was doing, so this CD was basically this naval officer talking you through visualization of your training session, which I would then do for my fight as well. So I'm going to run you through that quickly. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to lie down for this. If you haven't got an ab mat, guys, grab an ab mat over there so you can put your head on it, or roll your towel up so you can lie down and just put your head down on it for me, please. Right, so this visualization, the first one, I'm just going to run through a quick one to do with training, and then we're going to do one to do with fighting as well. Yeah. So this visualization is done in real time. It's not done in fast forward. You know, we're not skipping over things. When I used to do it for my fight, I would go to my routine was I'd go to the Arundel Country Club, which they had a gym there that I was a member of. I'd go and I'd put a sweatsuit on. I was always pretty good with weight, so I'd run on the treadmill for 5-10 minutes to get a sweat up. Then I'd go sit in the sauna for a little bit, and then, you know, I knew I didn't have to lose much. And then I'd go out to the spa outside. So when I got in that spa, I'd hit the bubbles, and I had timed the bubbles with my watch, and it was 1.5 minutes the bubbles would go for. Now when I was fighting, it was 4 2-minute rounds was the maximum before. We didn't do 3, we did 2. So it wasn't quite 2 minutes, but it was close enough. So I would go down and sit in that spa, and what I want you, it's nice and relaxing, and that's what I want you to do now. Imagine yourself nice and relaxed. Shut your eyes for me, please. Close your eyes, just relax and be in a nice, tranquil, relaxing place. So what I would do is I'd sit in that spa, I'd hit the button as soon as the bubbles went, yeah, and I'll talk about pre-fight stuff. We'll go back and do a prequel to what I'm talking about here. But this is straight fight. So I would hit that, bang, bubbles would go, ding ding, round 1. I would then visualize myself coming out, hands up, moving my head, throwing the jab, using the feint. You know, when the opponent threw, I would slip, I would catch, I would move my feet, and I would counter punch. You know, I would see myself throwing combinations, you know, making him miss, catch countering, slip countering, leading combinations, landing my favourite punch, which was the overhand right. You know, and I'd see, and then when those bubbles stopped at 1.5 minutes, that was the end of the round. I'd open my eyes, and I'd be all right, that's cool, that's round 1. I'd go ding ding, round 2, I'd press those button again and the bubbles would go, so I knew that was my key for round 2. I'd see myself again, getting up off my stool, going in the center ring and going through all the techniques that I wanted to achieve, yeah? I would also visualize, and I feel like it's not negative, I feel like I would visualize things going wrong and me dealing with it. So I'd visualize me getting hit with something and going, all right, that's nothing, I'm not gonna let that happen again. That happened because of this, and I'm gonna get it back. And I'd see myself getting it back with 2 or 3 punches myself. So I'd run through that technique, yeah? So it's really important that we see ourselves when we're visualizing in the first person, not the third person, yeah? So just, don't go to sleep on me, just sit up for me for a sec while we talk about this. Just, what's the difference between visualizing in first person and visualizing in third person? Can anyone tell me?
You don't actually visualize in first person. You're visualizing the punches happening, not watching.
Yep.
Yourself first person.
Yeah. Okay, so he's saying when you're visualizing in first person, you're actually watching the punches come at you. You're not watching it happen to you. Yeah. So what visualizing in third person means you're watching like an out-of-body experience. You're watching yourself in a scenario in the fight. You're like a spectator watching it. Still good, it can help, but not as effective. Yeah. So I've only just learnt this, to be honest. But luckily I never did that. I always saw it as first person. I actually had to look up in preparation for this the difference between first person and third person visualization, because I didn't really understand it. Yeah. So that is what it is. First person is you're visualizing you slipping, punching, you know, you're skipping, all that kind of stuff that you're seeing, that's you, you're in there, you're that person doing it. Yeah, third person is watching from the outside, like you're having a spar and you're a spectator watching yourself. I'm sparring you, you know, and I'm visualizing going over what we did the other night, maybe, you know, which is all right to reflect on stuff. But, you know, when we're visualizing for a positive outcome, for a positive reinforcement, you want to visualize in the first person. Yeah, so anytime you can visualize, you've got to visualize in the first person. Okay, so fight-wise, as I said, I went in real time, bang, 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 4 rounds. I would visualize myself getting my hand raised always at the end of the fight. You know, the other thing with my visualization, and also what I learned as I went, is you've got to make it as real as possible. You've got to, when you're visualizing, you've got to hear it. You hear the crowd. You've got to smell the ring, canvas. There's a smell on those canvases. Yeah. Gloves.
The lights.
The lights.
The lights are different.
Yeah.
The lights?
The lights.
Being on,
Yeah,
like when I
yeah.
put the casino, so.
Yeah. So So once you've known it and been under it, it's easier to visualize. If you've never been there, it's the unknown. But once you've seen that, that's why whenever someone's come from novice to comp and they're about to have their first fight, before they have their first fight, way before, I get them to come to the fights. You know, not just come and watch, I come get them to hang with the team. You go with someone, you shadow someone who has to go and weigh in, so you know what weigh-in's like. You go away, then you come back and you see the doctor. You go away, you hang out, you come back, you find out where your fight is, whether you're just hanging out at the shops or you're going home if the fight's near your place. If you're not, it's an hour and a half away, so you're hanging out somewhere. You might get a motel that you stay in, and then the coach is telling you when to come back. You know, so to be a part of that day before it actually happens is a big thing, because it's not new, it's not unknown to you when it's your turn to do that. So you have some type of understanding. So if you look at it that way, why do I do that? So it's not new. So why do we visualize? Yeah, that's also one of the reasons why we visualize. So it's not new. You know, we're hearing these things, we're seeing these things, we're smelling these things, we're tasting these things. You know, if anyone's ever tasted the sweat in their mouth, tasted the blood in their mouth, felt sweat in their eye, yeah, felt blood in their eye, which is worse, it stings. Yeah, blood. I used to love the taste of blood. You know, yeah, because it was this is what warrior instinct. It was just like, just came out. It's like, this is what it's about. Like, no, it's not. You're not meant to get cut and bleed, you idiot. But it was something I would thrive on. You know, but they're all the emotions and the feelings and that you need to link to when you're visualizing. All right. So training as well. It's important to visualize the training. Okay. So I'm going to go through the stuff I used to do and what this CD talked me through for a training session just quickly, and then we'll talk about some differences in improving stuff as well. Yeah. So let's lie back down, shut your eyes. Okay, this will be in real time, but it's going to be real quick. Yeah, but you will do it a lot slower. So I want you to imagine that you're driving your car, you're rocking up to the gym. Yeah, so you just found a spot, you've lucked out today, you found a spot in the car park up here, you parked it up, you grabbed your bag, you're walking out, you walk into the gym. Hey Simone, how you going? Yeah, great. Go in, put your bag away, then you're going to bring your stuff out, you're sitting down on the bench over there where the dumbbells are, sit down there, see yourself sitting down and you're starting to wrap your hands up. Yeah, yeah. If you're doing standing up normally, do it standing up, do what you normally do. Wrap your hands up, and as you're wrapping your hands up, you're thinking to yourself, mate, today's session is going to be a great session. I'm going to be training really hard and I'm going to feel good, and everything I do is going to be spot on. So you wrap your hands up, coach calls time, let's go, we warm up, routine, you know, rotation. I'm going to start at the head, up and down, left and right, ear to shoulder, shoulders forward, shoulders back, elbows, wrists, fingers, rotate through the torso, swing the leg forward and back, swing it across the body, heels to bum, ankles, toes. Or I've done my rotation, I want to grab the rope now. And when I grab my rope, I'm going to start skipping. You hear that rope, you feel real light on your feet, the timing's straight. Double under. Yeah, I'm feeling good today, everything's light, my timing's in, my rhythm's in, I feel real good. Coach calls time, ropes up, come back, right, shadow for the first round. Alright, he said 1 to 10 drill, so 1 to 10 drill, I'm going 1, forward, 2, back, 3, lead the left foot, 4, lead the rear foot, 5, 6, I'm going through all the motions, everything, I'm nice and balanced, my hips are down. You know, every time I change, I'm sitting, my feet are on the train tracks, I feel good today. Now it's free sparring, free shadow, sorry. So now I'm shadowing and I'm throwing the jab, whip, 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 the jab, I can hear it. It's nice and quick, it's going straight out, straight back to my face. My chin's down. Every time I whip out that jab, the shoulder hits my cheek. Every time I whip out that jab, the shoulder hits my cheek, my other hand's on my cheek, my rear hand's on my cheek, my elbow's in. You know, I'm bottom heavy because my knees are bent, my weight's down, my hips down, upper body's nice and light. I'm moving side to side. I'm slipping off my punches. Double jab, pop, pop. I'm going high, I'm showing variation, I'm feinting that jab. 1, 2, pop, pop. When I throw that right hand, it's crisp. I'm stepping on it, turning my hip. I've transferred that weight to the front leg. I don't feel good if that hip, that's going to connect. That's going to do damage. I feel good today. End of the round. Alright. Coach is called sparring. I've got to get ready. I go over, grab my mouth guard, get my 16, prepare my headgear. Yeah, I hit the bag. Oh, I feel good, the connection's good, the timing's good. When I hit the bag, my foot's hitting the ground, I'm nice and solid, I'm balanced. Round goes, coach calls me into the ring. I walk up the red stairs, climb through the ropes. I'm in there, buzzer goes, I touch gloves with my opponent. Same thing, I'm going to be sharp, I'm going to be elusive, I'm going to lead, I'm going to counter, I'm going to draw out, I'm going to set up. So after that session's done, all right, I've got groundwork. All right, yesterday I did 50 push-ups. It took me 2 sets of 20 and a set of 10. I'm gonna do 50 push-ups today, but I'm gonna do 2 sets of 25. 1, 2, 3, 4. First set of 25. Second set, 1, 2, 3, 25. That's an improvement. Still the same reps, but 2 sets instead of 3. Actually feel good, I'm gonna push out another 10. That's an improvement. I've had a win today. I'm better today than I was yesterday. Sit-ups. I did 200 total. I'm going to do 250 total today. And I'm going to do less sets. It took me 4 sets to do 200. I'm going to do 4 sets for 250 today. You know, now I'm going to stretch down. Had a good session. All right. You can open your eyes. So who was seeing that stuff, seeing themselves in the first person doing that, you know, and that's the idea, is what you've got to do, all right, and you can do it with your preparation that can prepare you for training, that they can visualise, and this is what I need to be like each time I come. As soon as I walk through that door, it's business. You can see yourself saying, hey, hi, you know, that's cool, you know, but once class is on, you know, and that routine's important, you know, you wrap your hands a certain way, you warm up a certain way, mentally prepare a certain way, yeah? So, has anyone never done that before? Just sit up for me, guys. I know you're probably relaxed now. Put your hand up if you've never done any visualization before. I never did. Yeah, alright. So, if you have done visualization, I hope it's been something along those lines. If it's not, take things that are a little bit different and try to add that to your visualization game. Again. Yours was always third person?
Harder to do it first person.
Okay, well that's
the combat.
sorry?
Unless I'm actually thinking of the combat in time.
Yeah. Okay, so that's something you need to work on then. Yeah. If you're doing a third person, slowly but surely try to retrain your thought process, which will then realign your nervous system with your thought process into actually doing that, because you're now thinking over and over and over. Repetition. And repetition is a very important part of our routine and our preparation. Yeah, you've got to have that repetition. Yeah, it's got to be good repetition as well. And remember, practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. Yeah, practice makes permanence. Yeah, but if you're practicing the wrong thing, what becomes permanent is the wrong thing. Yeah, so you've got to be practicing the right thing. Once you get something like third person, still cool, still better than nothing, but first person is where it's at. So you've got to understand that now and go, all right, I've got to work on that, because it's not natural now. Your thought process and nervous system is already aligned to third person visualization. So you've got to try and change that to, you know, maybe I just had my ego was too big, that's all I thought about it, I don't know. You know, I just didn't see it any other way. You know, it's just like, no, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. Well, I don't know, you got a big ego though.
No.
I was gonna say, you're just like looking at yourself, Cody.
I was thinking
I want everyone to see
when I was
it.
thinking of Final G, I could see all the combos and all the exchanges. I could see that first person. But like driving my car, I can see myself third person. It's hard to see myself in my car driving the train.
Yeah, okay, that's alright. Yep.
Yeah. But the actual combat and exchanges, I can already see.
Well, if you crash while you're driving in your visualization and you're third person, you're still alive.
Yeah.
Or are you?
I don't know.
There we go. Question. Ask who. Alright, let me just find my notes here. Okay, so that routine with training, routine with positive self-talk, routine with optimism and what lies ahead. Yeah. So that routine and repetition is super important, you know, and that's reinforcing everything. So you know how important your training routine is, that you're here every day at 5:30. Yeah. The serious ones are here a lot earlier than that, preparing for 5:30. Yeah. The other serious ones are here a little bit longer afterwards as well. I know we'll have time to restrain sometimes, but you know, that's routine. Yeah. And it's repetition, because you're coming 5 days a week doing that. And you've also got your routine and your repetition on you do on the weekend, or something you use in the morning. Yeah. That's with your physical training. So we now have to incorporate that with our mental training as well. Yeah. So ridding ourselves of negative thoughts, changing your thought process to get rid of that, and which will automatically increase positiveness in your life, even if you're not thinking positive shit. You get rid of the negative stuff. Negative goes away, even if positive's all the way down here. If that's going out the way, all of a sudden that's here. All of a sudden you're feeling better, you might start thinking a little positive, all of a sudden it's doing this. Okay? And so that routine and that repetition is going to wire your nervous system. Yeah, remember we talked about repetition and nervous system and doing correct techniques, yeah, and how your nervous system helps you do things automatically then. Yeah, so when if I was to teach you bench press, you never done bench press before, I'm going to get you down, lie you down, get you draw your shoulder blades back, stick your rib cage up, and get your full arch in your lumbar, and get you to plant your feet on the ground, put your weight through down there, and get you to squeeze your glutes. Yeah, and when you press, it's going to go from your nipples straight up. Yeah, so I'm going to correct you. You're going back over your head, but I'm going to correct you and go, no, this way, this way. You know, you do glutes engage, okay, engage your glutes. Rib cage up a little bit more, okay, go. It's going to take about 30 or 40 repetitions for your nervous system to wire, and then you will do that way all the time, because you've been going over it and over it and over it. Yeah. If you come to me and done bench press before, you come in with a rounded back, feet up on the bench maybe, yeah, glutes not engaged, rib cage down, you're pushing it over your head. For me to correct your incorrect technique, which is still doable, is 3,000 to 5,000 repetitions to correct that habit you've already got. Doesn't mean you can't correct it, you can, it's just going to take practice. So it's just reinforcing that, okay, I understand why I've got to do this now, it's better form, less risk of injury, I'm going to push more, yeah. So you understand why, and you start implementing it. Hopefully you maybe have a coach who can correct you, but then you've got to correct yourself. So if you can understand it first and foremost, and then correct it yourself, and want to correct it yourself, that 3,000 to 5,000, it goes back more to the 3,000. You know, I'm not saying can't be less, possibly less. You know, those are just numbers that I got thrown at me from a sports science guy years ago. Right? So that kind of stuff is really important. So when we're doing stuff over and over again, guys, that's why. Okay, so keeping in mind what I've just explained to you was the way I used to do it, and you know that was the science back then, and the information that I had access to. So it was all real time, and like you know that also takes time out of your day, but it all does. But I feel like it's still important. We're going to go through. I'll do that. So let's compare that to the recent research and study that I've been doing. One day I might go over all this stuff properly, so I don't have to read off this stuff I'm going to say, because I do understand it, but it's very putting it together and sort of new for me. But what they're saying now for visualization for the best, Huberman, if you've heard of Huberman, you can go on and listen. He talks about this in one of his podcast episodes, and this is what I listen to. Not that he's the be all and end all, you know, go out and check other things, but I've even got questions here. I read it, I question it, you know, and then I have to now go out and research those questions. You know, so don't take as gospel what you hear on the internet, unless it's a reliable source with studies for backing, references for proper studies, you know, and that's what these guys sort of do have, you know, but also, there's also different studies by different people that you can also look into. So this is also important, guys, to go out and saying what I say is gospel either. Yeah? It's pretty good. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't be telling you if it wasn't. Why would I want to preach that? But I may not be up to date with everything either. You know, so go out. If it interests you, you need to do it. And you want to do it as best you can. When you can do just what I say, and it's going to help you 100%. But you also, you know, if you want to understand or know more, you know, do it. You know, don't ever think someone's the be all and end all of the gospel is what they say. Yeah, do your own study, or you're going to come undone. You've been seen at the Olympics, mate. Everyone's saying it's not a man, it's a girl, and it's no, it is a girl, but it's, you know, not this, not that. But you don't really know. I haven't put anything up. A lot of people are posting, boxing people about that. It's like, I don't know enough. It seems like there's so many different aspects to that. I'm just going to leave it go because it doesn't really affect my world at the moment. If it was my boxer against them, then I'd be right into it and I'd be having my say. Yeah, so it's important that you do your own study on this stuff as well. So what they're saying now is to keep it very brief, very simple. So my stuff was real time. You know, I did 4 2-minute rounds with a break. You know, that was just a 5-bit, and I'd also look at getting there and having my hand raised and work afterwards, yeah. But what they're saying now to correct some stuff or get rid of some stuff, very brief, very simple, and repeated over and over again as many times in about 5 to 15 seconds maximum. Yeah. So I look at this and me deciphering it is, if you've got something you're doing technically wrong, or you want to correct, or just a technique that you want to implement into what you do, like a 1-2 slip rear hand, yeah, you want to make sure that everything's up and back. What they're saying is visualize that in the first person as many times as you can correctly. 1-2 slip, boom. Yeah. 1-2 slip, boom. 1-2 slip, boom. 1-2 slip, boom. Doing that in my head though. I'm seeing bum, 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 bum. Yeah. 5 to 15 seconds, depending on where you are, being able to do that. Then you rest for about the same, 5 to 15 seconds. So if you're on for 5, maybe off for 5. If you're on for 15, off for 15. Yeah. Repeat for a total of 50 to 70 repetitions. Yeah. So you do this 3 to 5 times a week. Once you're performing that at a satisfactory level, you can move on to other areas. Yeah. So whatever you're working on, do it where you feel like that's been implemented. And you come back here, once again, you can't just do visualization, you can do the physical side as well. You come and do the work here. Hey man, that shit's really helped. That's good. I'm going to now do that with something else. Yeah. So they're saying that's what will retain in your brain and wire to your nervous system the best using that technique. 5 to 15 seconds. Yeah. Over and over as many times you can visualize that. 5 to 15 seconds. Yeah. Once again, I feel like in real time. So I can do 1-2 slip cross maybe 12 times, and you're a bit slow. You want to do it at 8. Okay. But that's what I'm saying, real time. And then rest the same, and then do that for 50. So I think I worked it out time-wise. But so my questions were from that was, can you set a timer? Can you open your eyes on the rest? Shut them on the visualization, or question marks, you know? Is 50 reps at 5 seconds less effective than 50 reps at 15 seconds? You know, obviously you complete more reps in 15 seconds, but also it's a different 9 minutes visualizing 5 seconds on and 5 seconds off, as opposed to 25 minutes visualizing 15 seconds on, 15 seconds off. So there's a big time difference. So you would think, obviously, you know, if you're new to it, maybe the 5 seconds to start with, and then work your way up to 10 to 15, and you're just spending a longer time doing it. But surely, the more the better, and it's like anything, you know, you can do 10 push-ups first session, next session maybe 10 again, and then you're doing 12, and you're doing 2 sets of 10, and then 5, and then 2 sets of 10 each, and then you're doing 20. So you're improving each time, you're doing a little bit more. So the mental training and visualization is no different. Yeah. So that's what they're saying is the best for changing. But they were my questions, which obviously I just try to work out myself with common sense. But they're actually questions I need to go now and take it to the next level of finding out those answers, or asking the women himself, which I'm sure he'll answer if I ask him. So what you visualise will be done in the same time as real life training. Once again, real life, same time, yeah? Visualisation has to be combined with real world behaviour. Combine real training with mental training. So it's not just the, what's that book? It's that book where you think it, visualise it's going to happen in your life. There's a big, The Secret. You remember that? The Secret came out, it was a video, and it was like, you watch it, whatever you think about will happen in your life, but you can't just think about it, you've got to go out there and actually make it happen as well, yeah? So, visualisation with real world behaviour. Combine real training with mental training. Apply names or identities to your visualisation. That's the same name, identity as your real life practice. Yeah? So don't visualise yourself fighting Pluto or Mickey Mouse. Yeah? Unless you don't like the character of the movie world and you're going to go punch on them, right? So visualise real people. You were seeing Gene because that's you knew you were fighting him. You don't always know who you're going to fight, but at a state title, you usually know you're going to fight. So of course, you're going to visualise that person. You're going to see that person. You know his coach. You're going to, you want to see all those things. Yeah, the real people that are. If it's not, it's anybody. For me, it's just a body in front of me. When at the start, especially, you don't know who you're fighting. It's just anyone, but then you're concentrating more on yourself. Visualisation is adding new things and eliminating, suppressing other things. So, visualisation is adding new things and eliminating and suppressing other things. So, eliminating the negative thoughts and suppressing those negative thoughts, yeah, and adding the positive stuff. Keep it brief and keep it brief, small movements. Keep it brief. I should wear my glasses. Keep it brief and sparse. Small movements. Images that can be repeated over and over for about 15 seconds max. Repeated over and over again with a high degree of accuracy. So be accurate in what you're doing. We're talking boxing, it could be lifting, lifting techniques, whatever. Yeah. If you combine real life training and visualization, you will achieve greater speed, accuracy and performance in learning your craft. Continue mental training through injuries or layoffs to help maintain and or increase your level of real life training when you start again. And that's a massive one. If you've got some time off from an injury or sickness, that you continue your training mentally. Yeah. That way when you come back, you're straight back into it because you've been seeing it the whole time. It's as if you've been training without the actual physical side. We need the physical side, but I guarantee you're not going to. I think they've done studies too, you don't drop off as much.
Come back.
Come back, hey?
I feel like I come back better.
Yeah.
After that time.
Yeah. Depends, yes. Yeah. That's different.
Depends on
Conversation.
if you.
So you need focused effort with both visualisation training and real world training. And after both, you need a good night's sleep to benefit the most. So if you're not sleeping, you need to sleep to help your physical and your mental training.
Just did they say in that study the perfect particular hours that you should be sleeping? It's usually 8, isn't it? Or
Yeah,
8 plus, right?
Yeah, 8.
Did they? Yeah.
Around 8, yeah.
Yeah.
8. Sometimes too much is, 8's good.
Yeah.
We just go with that.
Yeah.
6, even, they did studies and differences between 6 hours sleep and 8 hours sleep is massive.
A lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and they did a memory recall on people at uni on subjects, and people group of 8 hours and people 6 hours, they remembered nearly twice as much as the 6 hours sleep people, which sounds crazy. The 2 hours different a night. It's just like,
It adds up. That's why I've read that as well. But it's like because it adds up over time.
well,
Like
1 week,
1 week.
that's 14 hours extra sleep.
That they've
and
had
8 hours had over 6
to bring
hours.
everything. Yeah.
100%. So rest will be important for physical and mental. So you talked about the first person visualization as opposed to the third person. Note that when trying to withhold a technique or bad habit, both physical and mental training is the best. Yeah. So when you're trying to stop a bad habit, or withhold a bad technique, doing something negative or bad that you want to get rid of, the best way to do that is through physical and mental. You can't do one or the other. Yeah. But catch the thought. So when you have a thought, you've got to catch it, negative, positive, whatever. Catch it, check it. Is it negative? Is it positive? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it affecting my life? Do I want to keep it? Is it helping me in a positive way? If it's not, change it. So the 3 C's: catch that thought,
Check it.
check it,
Change it.
change it. Catch it, check it, change it. It's cool. I like it. I do remember that. I'm gonna have to write it down. Do that. Catch it.
In the stuff that you've read, have they suggested the best time of day to sit down and do this? Like,
Maybe.
is it better in the morning or in the
Maybe. I
afternoon?
didn't write it down though, so I can't
Probably
tell you.
before bed, isn't it?
I feel like there is studies on stuff before bed, of course, but I feel like any time, if you're not doing any at all, that I would do it. I used to like doing it as a separate session, you know. So, you know, my routine was training in the afternoon, evening. So my routine for the pre-fight was the same in the afternoon, evening, but not in the gym. It was over at the Rundle Country Club, going through that visualisation. The way I used to do it, but that was my routine. I kept it that way, you know. But then I would also do visualisation. You could just do it at home, you know, before you come to training to help with the training, or in the morning when you get up. You know, I feel like your brain's not fully switched on for a while, but you know, you can do it in the middle of the day. I feel like any time, if you've never done any of it, as far as optimal time to do it, you have to look that up. Yeah, I didn't write it down, so I'm not sure if they did or.
I did read something and I went on a retreat thing, and they suggested that when you first wake up in the morning, before you even open your eyes,
Yeah.
you should at least lay there and think positive thoughts and go through exactly what you're meant to do that day and how that's going to impact your day, and all positive.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to get up, I'm going to do this, I'm going to have breakfast, I'm going to get the kids ready, we're going to be on time, we're going to
That's
do
cool.
this. And they say that you should do that without even opening your eyes. You already know, and then when you get up, that's what I'm going to do.
I'm not.
It's
Yeah.
different with training, like.
That's good. All this stuff's
Yeah.
great, and what I implore you to do, guys, is to find out what works for you. Yeah, because some of this stuff might sound a bit like, I ain't doing that shit, or that's a bit airy fairy, or you know. But unless you've tried it properly, you know, and worked out whether it works or not, then you can't really bag it. I've always said this since I was knee high. Yeah, don't knock it till you've tried it. So I've got no problem with gays. I've never tried it, I don't want to try it, I've got no problem with it. I'm not going to knock it until I've tried it. You know what I mean? If that's their thing, they can do it. You know, I don't want to do it, I have an inkling to do it, but I ain't going to knock it. You know what I mean? It's the same with anything. You can't knock it till you've tried it. But I also have tried some stuff and I think, nah, it's not for me. Don't like yoga, can't stand it. But it's great for people, great for some people. Very effective in making them supple and flexible and relaxed and core strength. But for me, I just can't. It's not me. It's not my personality. So you've got to find out what works for you. It doesn't mean it's terrible. Just because it's not good for me doesn't mean it's not good for you. Acupuncture doesn't work for me. I'm half Chinese. How terrible do you think that is for me? Well, hey, how does it not work? You know, but I tried it so many times to work on injuries and stuff. It just didn't work. And I found deep, hard tissue massage. It was for me to help correct stuff physically in my body. But you've got to find that out for yourself. It's the same with this. What you're talking about, great. Might not work for everyone.
When you were training, like, did you visualize these things when you were running and like doing the hard things? Because when I visualize when I'm running Ks, like I sent a message was, I was like, that last K I ran so fast, thinking of fighting the gym.
Yeah.
Like,
Always.
and doing those
Heavy,
hard things.
heavy.
Yeah.
That's a little bit motivational stuff. So you know, so that's motivation and drive. So you know, of course, like I would visualize many different things when I'm training. So boxing training is the hardest training in the world, right? There's plenty of hard training. I'm just saying in general, it's been voted #1 sport in all aspects. Yeah, So you've got to get through that shit every day. And I've talked to this to the guys in the comm class a lot, is you got to break yourself every day in any elite sport, not just boxing, but more so in boxing, because you're getting in there and punching on, and real shit happens, people die. So you've got to be prepared, and you got to break yourself. You got to push yourself through the physical boundaries, which are the mental boundaries as well, to know that you can give some more when you can't give some more. Know that you can get up off the ground when you've been knocked down and your head's spinning and you're seeing a white flash and your legs are gone, but you're going to get up and you're going to fight back, because that's who you are as a person. You're not a quitter. If I get back, I'm going to get that back. I'm winning this fight. Because that's who you are, and you do that through the tough times of running. And I'm going to push. I feel bad, but I'm going to push. I know it's the last K, I've got to finish this because it's it's the last round. I've got to push hard. And I think that, and when I train my fighters at the track, we talk like that. Championship rounds, which are the last 2 rounds. Let's go. We're doing 10 400s. The last 2 are championship rounds, and that's what we talk about, because when it's the 8th, the 7th and 8th, the 9th and 10th, the 11th and the 12th, they're the rounds you fight, and they're the championship rounds. That's where it counts, no matter what, no matter how wrecked you are.
Jump in the ice bath and visualise. That's what I do.
You've got to visualise to get through that shit. No one likes the ice bath, that's hard. So you've got to I'm doing this for a reason. I had every motivation under the world, but motivation's fleeting, man. If you need motivation to get you through stuff, it's discipline, it's routine. It's routine. You just got to keep coming no matter how you feel, no matter what, and then you've got to keep pushing, you've got to be breaking yourself, you've got to work through that all the time. If you want to be that person. And that kind of stuff is great for a mental training, because no one wants to be in there. It hurts. Your bones hurt to your bone, but you just got to breathe and relax and get through it. And I used to think any time I was in pain, I'm taking it out on my opponent. I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but it probably made me too aggressive and wanting to knock people out all the time in the ring, which is to my detriment sometimes. It worked for me most of the time, but against the really good guys, I only lost 5 of my fights in the amateurs, but only 3 people, 4 people. One guy beat me 3 times, but it's just like, I wasn't beating them at that level. Why? But I didn't have a good team around me. I didn't have people to access this on me, like I can access it now myself. I couldn't access it myself back then. That's where I get to share these kinds of experiences and knowledge with you guys. And I'm still learning. And always working on it. Yeah. So there is just one more thing I want to do before we go. Just want to talk about mental programming. So the mental programming is helping you deal with nerves, stress, anxiety, all those fears and doubts. It's also helping you to increase your positive stuff, confidence, speed, power. You can look at different aspects like that, whether it's mental or whether it's physical. Yeah. So we're going to do another visualization thing, and this is to help. Once again, this will be individual for each person. You'll pick on some stuff that you want to do. I'm just going to be a little bit general with what I say, but you get the idea when we go through it. Yeah. So let's lie down again. Alright, so I see some of you jokers with the eyes open last time. I'm going to be walking around with this water bottle with the eyes open. You're going to get a squirt in your eyes. Alright, is it my water bottle? Alright, think about that. Keep your eyes shut. Alright. So what I want you to do, guys, and this will be a different place for everyone. I'm going to talk you through something. If you want to go with that, go with that. So I want you to think of a nice relaxing place, something that's quiet. I'm going to pick a rainforest. Yeah. So I want to see you at the start of a rainforest, like at a trail walk. And you're walking down the trail, and it's lush, it's green, it's tranquil. You hear birds chirping, insects, the wind blowing slightly in the trees, the branches creaking. As you walk, you can hear the leaves under your feet. So you walk down about 100 metres and there's a little fork in the road. You turn off to the left and as you look there's a little bit of a cave there and you're like, yeah, I'm going to check this cave out. Nothing scary about the cave, it's quite peaceful, it's quite serene, it's nice. So you walk in and as you walk into the cave there's a little bit of light there so it's not completely dark. And you see these stone steps going down. And there's a bit of light down there, so you're not afraid. You walk down these stairs, down the stairs, down the stairs, down the stairs, and there's another door there. And when you get to this door, you open it up. And when you open it up, there's this big control room. Like the ones you see on TV, like a science fiction movie. There's a big chair there, and you sit down in the chair, and in front of the chair there's a big bench. There's literally a massive wall of knobs, knobs that you turn around, levers that you push up and down. And you look to your left, and as you're sitting there, there's a dial, and it's gone from 0 to 10. And next to that dial, or underneath that dial, it turns from left to right, 0 to 10. It says anxiety. 0 being no anxiety at all, and 10 being extreme anxiety. You're really nervous, your legs are shaking, you feel sick, you feel anxious. And at the moment yours is turned all the way up to 9.5. You know that's what it's at pre-fight. So we don't want to be there. A little bit of anxiety is alright, keep it switched on. But we're going to grab that dial with our left hand, we're going to grab that dial, we're going to turn it from 9.5 down. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to leave it at 1, a little bit's okay. And then just above that, with my left hand, above that, to the right a little bit, there's another dial, same thing, 0 to 10. 0 left, 10 to right. And at the moment that one's sitting on 8. And below that, it says speed. And it's referring to my foot speed in general. It says speed in brackets, it says foot. So foot speed, and I'm at 8. It's pretty good. I know my foot speed's usually good, but I wouldn't mind being up a little bit at night, so I'm going to go up, get that dial with my left hand, I'm going to turn it up to 9. I'm not going to go all the way, and I want to trip over myself. So I'm going to go to 9. So my foot speed's now at 9. And right next to that, the dial right next to it says hand speed. And that one's only on 7. So my foot speed and hand speed's been a little bit out. Maybe that's why I haven't quite been landing those shots. So I'm going to take that dial now with my left hand again, take it from 7 all the way up to 9, so that my foot speed and my hand speed are both matching. I'm nearly at maximum foot speed and hand speed, which is quick because I know I'm quite quick. So now I've got it matching, my foot speed's now matching my hand speed. Just to the right of that, I'm going to use my right hand for this one. It says power. Yeah. And my power is only on 6. And I know if I can hurt some people in there, it's going to change things. So I want to turn my power up. So I grab that from 6 and I turn it up all the way. I'm a little bit greedy, I'm going to turn it all up to 10 because I want my maximum power. So now my power is going to be 10. And right next to power, there's balance. My balance is also on 6. And maybe that's why my power hasn't been there, because my balance hasn't been there either. So I need to increase my balance. I need to take that dial with my right hand too and turn up from 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way to 10. So now I've got power and balance. So with the balance, it's going to help with my power as well. So I don't have balance, I'm going to fall off and be in trouble. Confidence. See, my confidence is only at 6 as well. I know within myself, even though I might show outwardly to others that I'm confident, within myself I'm only at a 6. But I don't want to be at a 6. I want my confidence to be up. I know I do the work. I know I do the preparation, I know it's there, so I should be confident. I'm going to grab that with my right hand. I'm actually going to grab it with both hands, and I'm going to turn it up because this dial's a big dial, bigger than the other ones, this confidence one. I'm going to grab it with both hands, and I'm going to turn 6, 7, crank it up to 8, and up to 9, all the way to 10. I deserve to be confident because I do the work. I've taken both hands to turn this big dial all the way to 10. So I deserve to be confident because I do the work. So once you've done that, on the screen comes up, you are now at maximum. For performance, you are now at maximum. So happy with that. Jump out of my seat, I open the door, walk back up those stone steps, feeling good about myself, feeling confident, feeling like I've never felt before, feeling like the stuff that I prepare, the stuff I do in training, I'm going to be able to implement. Because now I have that self-belief. Now I get up, back to that track, walk along that track, that 100 metres I walked in, I walk out, and I know I'm an improved person. See, okay, so that's just an example of that control room to help control anything really in your life. Whether it's anxiety, as I said, those buttons are up to you to pick. Things that you want to focus on or increase or decrease. I didn't do any decrease, I should have done that, but you know, it could be, I did do decrease and stuff, didn't I? Yeah, so increase and decrease stuff. Use levers, you know, the ones that go up and down, like on a DJ thing, or dials that move around from 0 to 10, and just see yourself turning up things you want to improve on and turning down things you want to get rid of. Now, that's one way of like reprogramming shit. You know, so whether it's to do physically with boxing or a habit, getting rid of a habit, you know, whether it's smoking, gambling, anything, like, you know, I feel like those types of things can help. What do you think of that? Yeah, did you understand what was going on, and did you feel like that would be a benefit? Yeah?
I feel like this about the breath work as well.
Yeah.
Because breathing is everything.
Yeah, breathing is very important. I'm no expert on breathing. I know there's others out there that do a lot of breathwork stuff. I've always been a massive believer in breathing, simply because boxing needs breathing. We exhale on the punch of power, we breathe in between. When we do weights, it's the same. We breathe in, we breathe out to get maximum out of our effort. Breath is very important. Breath is very important that we don't hold our breath, or else we get out of breath and things become very hard. You know, things change. Sometimes you've got flurries, sometimes you're cruising, sometimes you're just working through stuff, doing single things, sometimes you sustains attacks, which are all different breathing. You know, so breathing with this, I mean, there's plenty of things you can talk, you know, I'm sure Huberman and other people are like, but plenty of breathing stuff as well. I've read, not all the books, but I've read, you know, Wim Hof, and there's a lot of different things out there on breathing and, you know, what cycles to do, how many seconds in and out, all that kind of stuff.
Lots of anxiety and nerves.
Yeah, 100%. All that anxiety's nerves. So all that's a massive part. So anything like that you can get in and add in, and I'm not going to speak on that stuff. I have read, you know, I really, the importance of breathing is there. I just don't know enough to be telling you guys about it. But yeah, I'm a big believer in the breath work as well. I also get a little bit, it's a little cliche these days, breath work, or, you know, this and that, or anxiety, you know, but they're all things, you know. It's whether you choose to accept it and use it for what you need to use it for. And if you think it's rubbish or bullshit, that's cool, it might be. So you got to know when it's rubbish and bullshit. Maybe not in general, there's a lot in general that's rubbish and bullshit, but what's rubbish and bullshit for you? You know? So you need to listen to everything. You need to take in as many different things as you can, whether it's for this or for this. You know, and then you need to strip away what's no good for you. It's not everything that's right for me is right for you. stylistically might be different for you because you've got different attributes to you. You know, so you can't be the same as me in that regard. You know, there'll be an element of training, there'll be an element of reaction. Yeah? There'll be an element of talent, there'll be an element of hard work. You know, so all the people are at different levels in those areas. You know, and understanding and beliefs on things that will be different as well. You don't have to believe everything that someone says. That's why, you know, if you don't understand something, you've got to ask a question. Here in this gym, you know, we will explain it to you. If I can't explain it to you and you can't understand it, it can't be right. Right? So anything, if someone can't explain to me their God, that I can understand it, maybe they can say, oh, you just don't want to understand it, or you don't have faith. That's cool. But I'm still not bagging that either because I've never delved into religion enough to say that ain't right. So I'm not, you know, saying there is no God. Well, I find it hard to believe that there is. But I'm not going to say there isn't because I've never looked into it spiritually and dedicated myself enough to that to be able to sit here and preach there's no God. You know, some of the stuff doesn't make sense. I'm going to go on about it, but it's just using it as an example. You know, it's the same with fighting techniques. You know, take it, strip it away, use what's useful for you. Yeah, doesn't mean you just get to decide everything because your coaches are telling you stuff for a reason. You know, but our philosophies are here is to everyone has their own thing, and after the fundamentals, we want to teach you what's best for you, and then how to deal with every other technique that's put in front of you and styles. Yeah? If you're not getting that, or you don't understand that, you need to ask for it. Yeah, or you need to search for it yourself as well. Yeah. Alright, so I'll leave it at that tonight. Is there any questions? We will have a quick Q&A before I go. Is there any questions on what we did or comments?
Can I just quickly say, there is, I don't know if it was you or maybe Amanda or was said to me a long time ago, which helps me when I fly,
Yeah.
is when you're, you know, not far from fighting, or, you know, the day out, or even on the day, and you're like, I'm really nervous, you change your positive thinking in saying, rather than I'm nervous, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited to fight.
You would have heard that
I
from
can't.
probably all of us. No, it would have
Yeah.
been me and Adam talk about that a lot as well.
It might have been unit.
Yeah, so it's the physical.
That just helps me a lot.
There's nothing.
That's
Your body can't discern between nerves and excitement. You know, so like you remember when you were a kid and it was Christmas Day and you're like, presents. You know, you're up. Like, what are all those feelings? Like, what's the feelings of excitement about those presents? What do you feel? Can't wait. Your heart rate raises a little bit.
You're
Maybe
excited because you
you're
don't know
tingling.
what's in that present.
You don't know.
You don't know the outcome of what you're
this
going to
and that,
get.
You know.
I hope I'm going to get this.
Yeah. Sometimes you might even get a little bit like sweaty if you're that like excited about it. You know. So all those symptoms are the same as being nervous. You know, when you're nervous, you like, God, what's going on? Like, can't wait. You know, you might get sweaty. You might, heart rate goes up. You know, your breathing changes when you're excited. You know, when you're nervous, your breathing changes. So they're all things that, they're the same. You just got to be able to change that mindset around. I used to always tell myself, nerves are there for a reason. If you're not nervous going into a fight, something's wrong. Like, nerves are there to keep you switched on, to keep you ready to go. Like, I'm going to be like that. So if I'm just like this, like every day of the week, I'm not going to be ready to go. You know, and I feel like nerves are that, or excitement is that. Either nerves or excitement about what you're doing have to be controlled. If you're too nervous and you can't control it, you're not going to perform. If you're too excited, you're not going to perform either. Both are the same symptoms, both need to be controlled. One's not better than the other. They're actually both the same. You've got to control both. But I feel like you need both of them, whether it's nerves or excitement, keep in mind, I feel like they're the same thing, depending on how you look at it. You need that there to keep you switched on. told this story before, but there's only one guy I've ever seen that wasn't nervous. I didn't believe him. He said, I don't get nervous before a fight. This guy had had 13 MMA fights. He fought as a 16-year-old. He beat adults, like very good adults in MMA. And he said he never gets nervous. And he trained. I used to hold pads for my guys. And he had his first boxing fight with me because he was right in boxing. He got pushed into martial arts. And warming up, and he was just like, what's that? I was like, you right, mate? You ready to go? You switched on? Yeah, man. Come on, man, let's go. Yeah. Warming up on pads. Man, I've never seen anyone so flatlined. And then he went out, boxed quite well, got beat. Not much, wasn't much in it. But I was just like, it freaked me out. That this guy had absolutely no nerve, like to the point where I feel like it's a negative. Like you cannot, he went out and went alright, but he got beat. But you can also get beaten and be switched on. But yeah, it really, that's an anomaly. That's an exception. Not many people are like that. But whether that's
Is that like a game plan for him though?
Hey?
Is that like a game? Like he obviously got beat in that one, but his opponent might see that and be like, why the fuck is he so calm?
He didn't.
Do you know what I mean?
Well,
Like
he
is it
was
mental?
12 wins, 13 out of 13 fights, and he only got beat in the last one. He went to Japan and took a big beat. Did it for the promoter, just promoted him, and he just went over and took it. Didn't really prepare for it, and got beat. But he won every other fight.
Because like if I was his opponent and watching him, I'd be like, why is he so calm? Does he know something I don't know? Do you know what I mean?
Like, smash his.
Yeah.
No matter what he was like, I'd be like, I'm going to smash his. He can be excited, he can be angry, he can be talking trash, he can be relaxed. I'm going to smash him.
That fear makes you better.
Hey?
Having that fear makes you better. I feel like I'm faster and stronger.
You got to have fear. What is it? Hollyoak says, like, if your house is on fire, what are you going to do?
Gonna lock you.
You got to look. If you're not scared, then you're going to get burnt.
Yeah. It's like in a fight, you gotta lock in, you gotta, I don't know.
Anyway, any other questions? No? Sure? Yep. So I hope you all got something out of that.
Could you send the notes in the group chat?
Yeah, I'll send the notes. Sweet as.
It's like a podcast.
Okay, alright, thank you guys.
Matrix show.
Matrix.